Fairly quiet in the market, but you'd have to say that the dip has been bought yet again. Look at the market, 27 higher, and we are back at 13,500. That's this market. Even if you think, Sonia, that people have switched off and they're in weekend mode, they're not. They're buying every single dip and they don't want to let go of, I think, any opportunity.
Absolutely. And also, I think, what is happening is there's this missed out feeling, right?
Yeah.
If you're seeing even like a 2-3% fall in some of your favorite stocks that you didn't get access to, people are just jumping in and sort of buying them. Some of these quality companies is what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that explains, what we've seen in the last half hour or so with that V-shaped recovery on the screen. For now, let's look at another interesting piece of research. Our team got together to do a quick, fundamental check on the numbers and on the valuations of the Adani group of stocks. And some of them, specifically like Adani Power, have just been defying gravity and they've been rising, going through the roof. So let's get started. We've got Agam, Mangalam and Sonal joining in on respective group companies. I'll start with Adani Ports. Mangalam, what do you have on this one?
Well, for Adani Ports, the stock is very close to a 52-week high after rising 15% this month itself. I was looking at the numbers. The market cap of the company is close to around 1 lakh crores, and it's not a delivered balance sheet. In fact, they have close to around 38,000 crore in terms of debt. And if you just take a look at the debt on their books, it is nearly 8 times their operating cash flow for FY20. The reason why I've taken FY20 is because FY21 we know is an aberration of an year. If you just take a look at the numbers, FY19, their revenues were close to 10,900 crore, and CLSA expects this to double by FY23 to close to 20,000 crores. That means the profits of the company also jumped from 4,500 crores to close to around 7,500 crores as per CLSA. If you take that metric, then the stock trades at 13 times FY23 price to earnings. Remember, businesses in this segment across the world trade in high single digits 1 year forward. This is 2 year forward, which is trading at 13 times, slightly pricey. However, CLSA believes that there is a fair amount of potential for growth, namely mainly their Krishnapatnam port and all the other investments and subsidiaries that they hold. So they've ascribed a sum of the parts valuation of 210 rupees per share to the main core business and close to around 310 rupees to the investments in subsidiaries that they have. So their total SOTP valuation is close to 540 rupees.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. But Adani Power, Adani Green. Adani Green is one stock that has just defied gravity, right? So Agam is going to tell us more about those names. Agam.
Well, some very interesting trends coming out of these Adani Power companies. But I'm going to start off with their peers. So if you consider the price to earnings ratio for FY21 for something like a Tata Power, NTPC or JSW Energy, they trade at anywhere between 8 to 16 times FY21 price to earnings. Similarly, for their price to book, that stands somewhere around 0.8 to 0.9. It does get interesting for Adani Power, and it may be unfair to consider its price to earnings ratio considering it moves in and out of losses, but its price to book ratio is 2 times its peers. That is 1.6 times. It gets even more interesting for Adani Green Energy, which has moved up as much as 8 times through the course of the year. Now, its annualized FY21 EPS stands at 0.16. Based on that and based on its current value of the shares, 1,000 rupees per share, its price to earnings stands at around 6,500 times. More importantly, if you consider its net worth around 2,100 crores, its current market cap of 1.6 lakh crores, its price to book stands at 75 times. So staggering numbers for Adani Green. And well, we're going to have to watch out for where it moves from here.
Okay, wow. Those numbers are really gravity defying, not just the stock price, but the valuation numbers that you spoke of, Agam. Sonal, let's come to Adani Gas now.
Well, Adani Gas also has done very well this year, up around 110%. But it's 52% gain in last 1 month itself with no fresh trigger for the stock. Remember, it's a demerged entity of Adani Enterprises. It was listed back in November 2018 at a price of 72 rupees. And since then, it has given returns of almost 400% to investors. And in last year itself, Total actually invested around 37.5% stake into the company. And now they are a joint venture partner. A quick look at the financials. Well, in terms of revenues, the growth in last 5 years has been decent. It's grown around 12.5%. Profits, however, have grown almost 40 to 50% in last 5 years. FY20 profits at around 440 crore rupees. Volumes also have grown at a decent rate of 12.5% at 1.59 MMSCMD. And the company, it expects volumes to in fact grow 5 times by FY25, and CNG stations also expected to double by FY25. But what is interesting to note that though the company is growing, the growth rate is lower than the peers, which are trading at much cheaper valuations. So Adani Gas at current prices trading at 70 times FY22 EPS. This compares with Gujarat Gas at 18 times, the sector leader IGL at around 21 times, and MGL at around 15 odd times. So it's much above the sector average of around 20 times at a much lower growth rate if we compare it to the other peers as well. The market cap at 40,000 crores is highest among the city gas distribution space, and the growth is lowest. So let's see how it goes from here. Valuations definitely very, very high as far as Adani Gas is concerned.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. And finally, let us go back to Mangalam. He has Adani Enterprises. That stock as well has more than doubled this year, Mangalam.
Absolutely, it has more than doubled this year, and all the companies that Agam and Sonal spoke about were actually essentially spun-off entities from Adani Enterprises itself, and that's how the street looks at the company. They look at it as an incubator of various businesses. So currently, what does Adani Enterprise have? Well, they do have all the airports. The largest airport player in the country aspires to be the largest in the world. Then they have the coal mining business, both India and soon to begin production, Carmichael Coal Mining in Australia as well. And then they have the consumer business, which is Adani Wilmar joint venture, which sells all the products under the Fortune brand. So this stock also, like you said, has doubled from the start of this year, 12% this month itself, and the market cap is close to around 50,000 odd crores. Again, not an unlevered balance sheet. They do have debt of close to around 12,600 crore on their books, and the last year profits were close to around 1140 crores on a revenue of 43,000 crores. So that means that the trailing valuation for this business is close to 49 odd times. So pricey on a PE front, but then again, the street is looking at it as an opportunity for various value unlocking parameters for the businesses that I just spoke about.
Okay, all right. Thanks very much, Mangalam, Agam, as well as Sonal, for getting us this in-depth analysis on the Adani Group. Let me take this to Prakash now. Prakash, not a lot of people want to give clear calls on these Adani stocks, but I'm going to put this on you. So you tell us, some of them clearly are defying all semblance of understanding in terms of the valuation spike up, the good, the bad, and the ugly here.
So, Surabhi, yes, I fully endorse this view that it's been a case of absolute spellbinding moves, but very difficult to catch that, very difficult to rationalize it. Except for the fact that Adani Ports is the only business that I thought I understood remotely. Gas and green have been absolutely out of the blue, and the way they've performed, a lot of questions still remain unanswered. But, this is what happens when something catches fancy in terms of a low float and, the right spots to be in, the right segments to cater to. And then they've done well in terms of, making sure that they deleverage in the businesses which are getting a bit over the top and leveraging themselves on areas which still offer growth. So I fully agree. But, to buy into any of these stocks at these levels, whether you will still be able to make money, that's a big question. I'm a firm believer that capital goods will do well, infrastructure will also follow, but these stocks don't offer that valuation comfort at all. And I tried to figure out what would happen if Agam were to be invited by Mangalam and Sonal for lunch, and if they were to discuss these, I would not be able to participate in any of the rationalizing of or justifying any of these valuations at this point in time.
Okay, I think no one's going to spend their weekend doing that. Some numbers perhaps, we can only look at and then understand in hindsight immediately. Perhaps one doesn't quite get the explanation. Anyway, thank you very much, Prakash, for joining us today. Your super weekend. We'll catch you with the market action again next week. On that note, let's get back to this market, a market which has bounced right back up. Look at the Nifty, 13,522. It is bulls in absolute control. Mitesh, look at this. So what a rebound. What are the trading calls now?
See, in fact, much stronger than what I had thought from yesterday's low. I think we have nearly recovered by about 100 plus points. The calls that I have one buy and one sell. On the buy side is Apollo Tyres, buy with a stop at 188, targets of 200 here, and sell on Page Industries with a stop at 24,000 for targets of around 23,000.
Okay, all right, let's take a quick break on that note. We'll come back, 15 more minutes to go. We'll bring Deepan Mehta into the conversation and get a couple of other interesting stock ideas going.